Welcome back. This is going to be part two to the What is Death videos. And I was talking about, so the, there's some, okay, I won't say it's necessarily indigenous beliefs. It's actually something that in talking now with what has happened with my aunt, with my kids, that it reminds me of it because we often talk about our ancestors being with us. And my youngest in particular is got a proclivity towards in believing in ghosts. And so we talked about, like I brought up the same option to him. My oldest son, when he was younger, he really liked the idea of reincarnation, especially when we were talking about a pet and we talked about all the wonderful different incarnations that she could choose next. It could be another dog, could be a person, could be anything. And my youngest, though, was much more thinking about ghosts. So we talked about the different kinds of ghosts that people believe in. There's, different spectral beings. And we talked about ancestors, like being, our family and our loved ones and our friends who are in many ways guiding us and with us in all ways, and, helping to leave the little synchronicities and to remind us of things and to be in our hearts and around us. And in a way, it's kind of a ghost, sort of. And so we kind of all collectively talked about things and felt like there's kind of a combination of the lifetime that we live leaves an imprint. It leaves at least an echo. And that echo sticks around as a being of some kind. We talked about, there could be different kinds of ghosts. There could be ghosts or echoes that feel like they still have something to do, like unfinished business, and those that are just happy. They're just in their higher self element and just around, and those that like to make mischief and do hauntings and things like that. And we also believe that the rest of our being, our soul, goes to reincarnate and goes to a mid place to review things. And there's a there's a lot of writers in our family too, so it's helpful, and especially if you find that they're, either it's comforting to talk about, or you have writers in your family too, that you can really like imagine it. Imagine what you would think about it. And we talked about like that time when your soul is still kind of tethered to your body, but going. Like, what happens in that? Do you go and visit your loved ones and your family and things like that before whatever may happen, maybe kind of a split, but not a split, because we're always all connected through energy, much like all trees or all mushrooms are all connected at the roots. So we're all connected in there, but to some degree of separation in there. That the you that was you that recognized your body and things like that, when it's leaving the vessel, what might it do? What feels right to you about what happens then? And I think, to me, when we talk about what is death, that's one of the first important elements to, not necessarily important, but it's usually the first one that comes up. It's just, what is it? What is it that happens? And I think the other thing that's important to consider is, what is death in terms of how it affects everybody else? Because no matter what happens to the loved one, whether it be an animal companion or a close family member or a distant family member, like, what happens to those of us that remain? And that is in dealing with loss. And I won't say the hard truth of it is, but a truth of it is that you're going to be missing a part of your life, depending on how close you were, on how meaningful a relationship you had. That could be a bigger or smaller loss. And I'll do more talks about that particular, kind of loss too. But it's important to think about, like, what does that mean to you? And one of the things that I've kind of been saying, at least for me, is that I look at it as, when I lose someone, whether through death or through other events in life, is, I feel like I have two choices. Either I can give up and join them, or I can live even more for them. I can look at what was beautiful about them and wonderful about them, and decide what I can integrate and carry on and to honor them, and bring that forward, and live even harder for a lack of a better way to put it. I'm going to end this video here. Let me know if you have comments or thoughts, and we'll just keep the conversation going that way. But until then, thank you so much for watching.